Hello and welcome to episode 12 of Let's Play Planet Coaster here on Theme Park Worldwide. It's the episode that I've been looking forward to filming for a long time. In fact, I've been talking about doing this ever since the start of this Vintage Park series. In this video, I'm going to be building my Heritage Pier. Now, I know a lot of you have been really looking forward to this, and I was really excited to get stuck in and start building it. And yeah, I'm really pleased with the end result that you will see at the end of this video. I originally thought that the pier might take at least 2 episodes to complete, but actually there's not that much to it. It's not that technical at all, really, and you can see I've only been playing it about 5 or 6 minutes here at this point, and it soon starts to come together when you put all the wooden boards in. Your supports start to go in shortly, as you'll see, and obviously all the paths and things, and then I'll be adding the buildings and the rides on there, and then of course the finishing touches, all the little details that will make this Heritage Pier. But yeah, I thought it was going to take a lot longer to build than it actually does. So yeah, you will see the end result at the end of this episode. There's going to be a small indoor section here at the bottom of the pier, nothing massive, but yeah, that's what I'm putting in here. That's also going to have the steps in, which take you up onto the main walkway itself. And you can see here that I'm starting to put in them foundations for the pier as well. Obviously, in terms of what's going to be going on in the pier, I'm thinking about just a few small flat rides going on here, maybe 2 or 3 flat rides. I was originally thinking about putting on a junior coaster, but after, at this point, I was still thinking maybe about putting it on. But then the more I looked at it, the more I thought, I just think it'll look really out of place. I want this to look really old. In fact, I want this to probably be the oldest part of this amusement park, along with the scenic railway that I built right back at the start. I want this to be really old. I know I'm building it now nearer the end of the series, but you've got to think, I want this to have been there a couple of 100 years, and obviously not the rides on there, but at least the pier support structure itself, hence why it's going to be very brown, not much colour to it. It's going to look like it's been there for a long time, this pier, and that's what I want with it. But yeah, it's going to be sort of, putting all the foundations in for it first, as you can see here, like the support columns, these nice fancy railings on the side, then putting on the paths, then the rides, and then of course the buildings and the finishing touches on there as well. So I did think it was going to take longer, like I say, but I was pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to actually build one of these piers. Now I know a lot of people out there have been looking forward to watching this to see what I do with it. Maybe that means you're going to build a pier yourself, so let me know down in the comments. Is it something that you'd look at doing? Maybe instead of doing a heritage pier like what I'm doing here, and as you can see my first ride going on just there, instead of doing a heritage pier, maybe you'll just make a pier a bit like the ones in Blackpool, for example, where you've got lots of different things on there, like modern rides. You could have like a Dodgems on there, merry-go-round. You could even use custom scenery and make like a bungee jump and all that sort of stuff. You can do all sorts with this. But yeah, you can see my second ride going on there. Thinking about the placement quite a bit here. I want the pier to look good from all angles, but also want you to get some good views. And I thought if I turn it spinning around that way towards the Wild Mouse area of the park and the scenic railway, it means you're going to get some better views from it. Also from on the pier as well, you'll get some really nice views of the 2 areas of the park on each side of it. Obviously you've got the Chinese Gardens area off to the right that I've just built across the past 2 episodes. So if you haven't seen them, make sure you check them out here on Theme Park Worldwide. All the videos from Planet Coaster are in a dedicated playlist. And yeah, of course, you got the other rides off to the left-hand side of the pier that I've been working on earlier in the series, like the Vintage Cars ride, the Scenic Railway, the Wild Mouse, and so on. You'll get some very nice views from on the pier itself. But yeah, there you go. You can see that the 3 rides are all installed there down the bottom end. Just adds to the thrill of it, having them down at the end of the pier. For me, I know riding the Crazy Coaster on the South Pier in Blackpool is fantastic, especially when the tide is in. Because you are riding this coaster above water, and it feels like you're going to come flying off and into the water, and it really adds to the overall feel of it, doesn't it? That exhilaration of the ride. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted with some of these rides here on my Heritage Pier. Of course, it's 3 more rides to add to the park, and there's a good lineup of rides in here now, and there's still a few rides to be built, like I'll be talking about later in the episode. Share a few more future plans about what I plan to do. You can see here now that I'm starting to put in some of the buildings, or at least the walls that are going to be the buildings. I always tend to do this. I like to put in, you know, where things are going to be, and then before I put the details in, I like to carry on with other things in the project. So obviously with this being a heritage pier, I want it to look really old. We're looking at all different lights and things on here, and you can see I've put all them light archways all around the edge of the pier, which means it'll look gorgeous at night. And at the end of the episode, we'll have a good look round, and I'll show you it from a few different angles at night as well. But yeah, just putting in these different turrets now that kind of fit with the rest of the park. But like I say, the brown, they look a lot older than some of the blue and red that we've gone for over on the mainland, especially on the left-hand side of the park, the older section of this amusement park, where we've built the Schwarzkopf looping coaster. That's more the newer area of the park. Even that, I'd say that was, you know, sort of late 70s, early 80s, that area. But yeah, anyway, as you can see here, adding in those on the top, there's quite a few of these turrets that I'm going to be putting on, mainly because I think they scream out to me pier, and I think of, like, you know, Brighton Pier, for example, with its roof, what it's got. You know, there's some great piers here in the UK. Obviously, let's talk about those for a minute. Brighton Pier has got some great rides on the end as well. A couple of coasters, some flat rides, a ghost train. It had the first air race in the UK. I actually put a POV on of that here on the channel last week, I think it was, so make sure you do check that one out. But yeah, along with that, you know, we've got the piers in Blackpool. I know that if you go on the North Pier, you've only got a carousel. It's a beautiful carousel, but it has only got the one ride. Of course, on Central Pier, closest to the tower, you've got a Ferris wheel, a few other different rides on there, fairground rides for all the family, and then of course South Pier, which is probably my favourite, that's got a huge arcade on there. The others have got arcades, but that one's huge. And you've also got a big collection of rides, including they've got like a bungee jump on there, which is really cool, like the sky coaster, what goes over the side of the pier. There's quite a few different bits. There's a slingshot, there's a break dance. In fact, I'm going to be doing a vlog on there and all the Blackpool piers at some point throughout this year. So make sure you do check them out when they go online here on Theme Park Worldwide. Another one is the Grand Pier, and that's what this is actually going to be named, the Grand Pier. I just really like that name, and I think it fits with the park, and I'm going to be adding that in lights soon on the side. But yeah, the Grand Pier in Weston-super-Mare is great. I know the old one burnt down, but I really like the design of the new pier. It's a shame that you have to pay to go on it just to walk around. Even though it's only a small charge, I don't think that's a good idea, really. But still, the ride's what they've got at the end. It's all indoors, it's very modern, and it's completely the opposite of what this is, what I'm building now, basically. It's all indoors, you know, fun for all the family in all the weather conditions, really. You know, so yeah, it's a great pier in my opinion. And of course, there's lots of others throughout the UK as well that I've not mentioned, that yeah, definitely go out and check them out if you want to get some inspiration for your Planet Coaster parks. I think that's a big thing for me, it's inspiration. Like, I look at a lot of these different parks and people comment, you know, and say, oh, why don't you do recreations? I'm not a big fan of doing recreations. I'd much rather create my own personal projects. But yeah, like, you know, I do look at things for inspiration, and I've openly said that this park has been inspired by the likes of Liseberg, Gröna Lund, Tivoli Gardens, a lot of these classic amusement parks, and our very own Pleasure Beach here in the UK. So yeah, you know, I have took a lot of these parks for inspiration, but when it comes to doing recreations, that's just not fun for me. I like doing my own creations and being a bit sort of innovative in that way, and coming up with my own ideas. You can see here, continuing what I was saying about adding lots of lighting around, making sure that I'm putting that all around here on this pier. More lights here than anywhere else in the park. I want it to be bright. You got to think people are going to be walking along the front there. They're going to see this big pier sticking out, covered in lights. They're going to want to go onto it. But to get onto it, they've got to go in and walk through the park. And that's kind of the clever design of this. There isn't just an entrance from the outside straight onto the pier. You've got to go in at one of the two entrances into the park and then walk through the park, seeing other rides and attractions to actually get onto the pier itself. So that's quite a clever design that I've put into this one here as well. Anyway, I'm going to shut up talking for a few minutes. I'll catch my breath, and yeah, I'll play a bit of theme park music whilst I carry on here with more of the pier. So as you've seen across the past few minutes, my heritage pier is really starting to come together now. I've put like another bandstand on there. I know it's the same as the one that I used out the front of one of the arcades way back near the start of the series, but I thought, you know, I want to put another one in, but we'll just change the colour scheme of it so it fits quite well onto the pier. So yeah, that looks really nice on there, and yeah, it's like I say, a different colour, so you can't tell too much that it's the same one that I've used. Just adding in some more details along the side here now that I forgot, to be honest, to do earlier on. Just a few more of them metal railings on the side that I completely forgot when I was doing them. You know, and that happens. You know, no one's a perfectionist when it comes to doing stuff like this. No one's perfect, you know, when it comes to doing it all. So yeah, you've got to go back and do bits that you miss sometimes, and you know, that's understandable. It's fine to go back and do that. As you can see here, just working on that little indoor section now before doing the signage. So like I said earlier on, it's going to be called Grand Pier, the Grand Pier. So I'm going to put on the side the letters for that, which is going to go up on the building itself, both on the front and on the back. A bit of a different change of colour compared to some of the other signage, but you'll notice that the Scenic Railway, that's got these big letters on. God, what else? The Fun House, the Wild Mouse, the Chinese Gardens. Yeah, there's loads of these different signs throughout. We had an amusement park sign, didn't we, that we put on the side of a building. You know, so this is, for me, when I think of these old school amusement parks, I think of these big, warm, like white signs, what they've got, you know, like warmly lit bulbs in there. That's what I was trying to say. So, you know, that's what I think of when I think of these old school parks. And this is really coming together nicely now. You can see I changed the colour of the entrance building here to brown as well, because it was white when I first put it in, but I was unsure on what colour, you know, was going to work best for it, especially with the surrounding buildings. I mean, them ones are white to the left a bit, but I thought actually it looked a little bit too much, so I've changed the colour of that to brown to fit the rest of the colour of the pier. So yeah, it's coming together really nice. I'm pleased with it. This was the point where I started to think, actually, this isn't taking anywhere near as long as what I thought it was going to be. You know, and I've still put the same amount of detailing in as the other buildings in the park and what I wanted to put into it as well. So yeah, it's coming together nicely, and you'll see over the next few minutes as we come towards the end of the episode how it looks really, really nice and really complements the park, in my opinion. Of course, let me know your comments down below. I always like to read them. I read them every day, and I like seeing what you guys think to what I'm building in Planet Coaster and all the other videos here on Theme Park Worldwide as well. So keep them comments coming in. Now let's talk a little bit about the next few episodes, or should I say the final few episodes of this vintage park. Now, I've already said before that I was going to build a log flume. That is definitely going to be built. I'm also going to build a wooden bobsleigh, and both of those are going to be coming up next. They're going at the top right of the park, next to the ghost train, so just to the right of that show building. The plan is, in the next episode, firstly to build the bobsleigh, that's going in, and then we'll work on the log flume, and they're going to sort of interact quite nicely. Imagine a bit like the Congo River Rapids and the Runaway Mine Train at Alton Towers, that sort of style in terms of, you know, that isn't the theme we're going to go for. We're not doing like an African village with it at all, because I don't think that would fit with this park whatsoever. But yeah, when I do a World's Fair park, definitely so. But yeah, what the plan is with that interactivity, you know how they're both sort of next to each other, they go through a tunnel together, that sort of style, you know, I'd like to have them interacting a little bit like that. In terms of the theme for them, I've got a couple of different ideas on some light scenery. Like I say, nothing too much. I don't think anything's too heavily themed in this park. I know some people said, oh blimey, you know, your Chinese buildings are quite heavily themed, especially for an amusement park. But you know, it's more about like there's only the one ride in that area, which I wanted intentionally. You know, it's more about just having the gardens and all the nice buildings around it. A very nice picturesque point, and a lot of them buildings would have probably been there before in the gardens area before the coaster was put in. You've got to remember that one. More lights going in around here, and yeah, all the finishing touches, as I would say now. And like I say, in a couple of minutes time at the end of the episode, before I wrap it up, We'll have a little walk through this area just so you can see it when it's not sped up, and we'll put the rides onto testing mode so you can see that in a couple of minutes. But yeah, it really fits in nicely because obviously from here you get beautiful views of the Chinese Gardens area walking along this pier, and I look forward to seeing guests how they react to it on here. You know, we'll put like one of the points at the end that guests go and sort of take photos of and attracted to it. So we'll put that in so people walk right to the end, and you know there's rides at the end anyway, so the guests should definitely be attracted down to it. But yeah, just putting in these food units now, just a few of the usual food outlets that we've got in the park. Like I said quite a few episodes ago now, I've tried not to overdo it on the food outlets because my previous two parks I've put way too many in and it's just not worked out, you know, a lot of the staffing wise and things, you know, so a lot of staff tend to get bored. So what I've decided to do is put less food outlets in, and that's definitely paid off with this park. If you want to see it operate in this park, I did open it a couple of episodes back, so make sure you do check that out if you've not seen it here on Theme Park Worldwide. So yeah, let's have a little look then around this area before wrapping up the episode. You can see how I'm just putting in all these barrels and finishing touches and things around here. Again, it's just, that's what, you know, I firmly believe in, finishing touches and filling in areas. I don't like gaps too much, and that's hard for me doing an amusement park because there has to be a few gaps and things. It's not a fully immersive themed experience like a theme park would be, but that's coming up next with my shopping mall park. Following that, this World's Fair park that I'm going to be building. And here we go then. So let's have a little look at the Grand Pier here in Summerfield Shore Amusement Park. Look at that, it's covered in lights. It looks really nice, especially at night. And look at the Schwarzkopf Looper just behind it. You know, it fits in beautifully, this does. Lots of seating, lots of open space on there as well for people to enjoy the views. Obviously there we've got the food units, and then we've got the little bit of music playing from the organ. We've got some random contraptions, and then the 3 different rides that we've put in there. A couple of them, you know, similar in terms of what they do, but obviously, you know, they all fit really nicely on there and complement each other on the pier. But there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode, which will be number 13 here of Let's Play Planet Coaster on Theme Park Worldwide. That means it's time to cue those credits. See you soon.